When you cut gluten out of your diet, you cut a lot of processed carbohydrates out of your diet.
And you eat less cakes, biscuits, and other foods that have a high amount of sugar and salt within them.
Healthy people who feel a bit bloated after they've had several sandwiches for lunch need to review their diet and look at having maybe more fruit and vegetables.
While there's no scientific evidence of non-celiac gluten intolerance, for some, the strength of the anecdotal evidence is building.
It's hard to argue with the number of people that you meet who don't have celiac disease, but do say to you that they have a gluten sensitivity or they have a difficulty with eating bread. As to whether or not that's the food alone, or is it the processing of white bread in particular that is the problem?
If they were to try a sourdough instead, they might find that actually they can digest a sourdough.
So to find out exactly what sourdough bread is, I went to meet Joe Fitzmaurice in Cloughjordan, who spends 14 hours a day making it.
So if we look at this, this is rye grain. We crush it, and here they are, the rye grain here. But the problem is, our bodies can't digest properly grain in its raw form like this. Crush this, add water, and we get this natural fermentation. The wild yeasts and bacteria that are on those grains, they will start breaking down the gluten before we ingest it.
OK, so no added yeast like you would have done baking at home?
Absolutely not. And that's the way it was since the Egyptians.
Do you reckon that all the people who are complaining now about being gluten sensitive, that they're probably just eating too much starchy bread, or is there something different about the bread?
I reckon, personally, that it's to do with the fermentation, that gluten hasn't been broken down. And these par-baked breads, half the time you go into the shop, and they haven't even been baked off properly. They're all doughy inside.
Listen, your bread is crackling.
Yeah. It's great, isn't it? Sings.
That's wonderful.
Isn't it?
And it smells absolutely glorious.
These are little perks that bakers have, but the rest of us don't get to know about.
I've never heard bread doing that before. Methods of baking like yours take time, so you can't feed the country, can't meet the demand for bread, though.
Why not?
Well, can you?
Why not? As in we did. In every small town and village, there was a bakery.
But a consumer is going to make their decision based largely on price. You can't make a competitive loaf, can you?
No, but I'm not trying to. I'm trying to feed people. I'm getting people coming to me all the time saying they can no longer eat the processed bread. And they've started eating the bread I produce and finding they can digest it. And we've got caught up in this idea, calling it product. It's not product, it's food, you know?